All right, you want to fight crime? Let's get dangerous.
Okay, let's try this again. It's that time again on a Saturday for us to have some fun and talk about some comics and some other great stuff here, because why? It's time for From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher. I'm here. I'm Joe D. McPhee here, and we got a good show for you tonight. We got a lot of books to go over, a lot of books to talk about. We got some things about C2E2 to talk about here, and a couple of other things that are going on. So without further ado, let's get a lot of the business end of things out the way here, such as Stupid O'Clock happened 1 hour into our show. If we go to a second hour here, that is then followed up by Last Man Standing, which starts at 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then that is followed up by a little bit of a respite until Monday morning, where you have Nicholas Tucker and Nevermind the Furthermore on Monday. And then don't forget about Thursday, where I'm right back here with the Comic Book Spectrum crew at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm not certain what books we're going to talk about and which shows we're going to talk about, but it's going to be a very awesome show this upcoming Thursday. Nevertheless, so we're here, we're back, and we're about to get ready to do the thing here. So I'm going to give just myself a little bit of a moment here to take a couple of sips of water here, because we got a lot of books. And trust me, this is going to be one of these few weeks that we're going to be doing a hell of a lot of books that's coming in for new comic book pickups for the week. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to it here for new comic book pickups for the week here. And like I said, it's a lot of books. I'm seeing in front of them right now. We're going to start off with almost a complete run. And when I say almost a complete run, I literally mean almost a complete run of Codename Knockout, starting from issue number 0, issue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and I think this goes to what, 13? Yep, 13, because I need to find the issue number 12. So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and I believe 23 was the last issue of Codename Knockout. So almost a complete run of Codename Knockout. We're going to follow that up with Lois Lane issue number 60, which is a very great issue here. So we got Lois Lane number 60 that came in this week. And we're going to follow that up with a couple of old school Wonder Woman issues here. We're going to start off with, I got another copy of 143. One of the missing issues that I needed, which is 146. and we got 152. So we got those Wonder Women that we have calculated into our collection catalog as of yet. We got another copy of Challengers of the Unknown 45. That's another copy of that here. And then we're going to follow up that up with completing my the Black Pearl set from Eros Comics here. We finally got Black Pearl issue number 2. So now that series is now officially completed here. And then we're going to follow that up with another, and I do mean another complete set. And I believe that this finalizes, I believe, volume 4 of Uncanny X-Men. So starting with another copy of issue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, which is one everybody loves, issue 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, which gets into the Inhumans versus X-Men, 17, 18, which was that one, 19, which is the last issue, plus the annual that came in too. So, like I said, a complete run of volume 4 of X-Men. So that all came in. And then we're going to follow that up with, I'm going to put that over here. A couple of Ghost issues here. I got issue number 3 and issue number 4. They're both came in the same pack here. I don't understand why it wasn't separated, but yeah, there it is. Issue 3 and issue 4 of Ghost. And then that's going to be followed up by Spider-Woman Origins number 2 of 5 here. And there is the Sunstrider clan here. Welcome on in. So we got Spider-Woman number 2 of 5 of Origins. And then we got another satisfying complete run here of All New X-Men. This is All New X-Men Volume 2. Complete run of that came in here, starting with issue number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 is the two Inhumans versus X-Men, which is 17 and 18. And then the final issue number 19. So that's all of the volume 2 of All New X-Men that came in here. And yet there is still more, because we haven't even touched. I got it on about halfway through here. We got Captain Action number 3 that came in, as well as New Mutants Annual number 1 that came in. So we got those 2 books that came in here. We're going to follow that up here with something that I didn't think I was going to actually accomplish here, but we're going to do it this way. Volume 3 of Spider-Woman, starting with a couple of copies of issue number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18, which is the last issue here. So a complete run of Spider-Woman Volume 3. Oh, we're still not done yet. Nowhere close. Nowhere close. We got Lady Mechanica number 1 from the first run. Again, issue number 2 from the very first volume here. issue number 3. And then we got issue number 4 for the Tablet of Destinies for Lady Mechanica here. That is going to get followed up by Helena Double Impact, the number 1, the special one shot here of Helena and Double Impact. We got another copy of the photo variant of Vampirella Strikes number 1 from Harris Comics. We end up getting a Fathom number 0 from Wizards Comics. I finally finish up volume, I think this is volume 1 of Dawn. This is issue number 6 of volume 1 of Dawn, which I finally finished up here. So yeah, we've been completing a lot of different books here. And then this is, I forgot which issue this issue of Liberty Metals here. Dang, why did I forget what issue this was? And the reason I forgot, because it is a actual Adam Hughes cover of Liberty Metals here, but I forgot what issue this is. One of the things that I don't like about Liberty Metals, it doesn't really tell you issue numbers inside of the book. Lucky Mail. Dang it. Oh, there we go. Issue number 20. This is issue number 20 of Liberty Metals. So issue number 20 of Liberty Metals. Yep. And we got Elaine in the house here. So that is so cool here. So we got Liberty Metals. This should look familiar to Elaine. Guess what I got now? Yep, that's the same one that she just reviewed for our panel that we did for the Multiverse fundraiser for Comics for Kids. So I got my copy of that. And guess what I might end up reviewing for this Thursday? This is the second, if I could say, I don't even want to say issue, but this is the second, if I could say, young adult graphic novel that they did for Nubia. The first one was okay. Can't even say okay. There's a lot of stuff that I kind of disagree with as far as canon, but it was okay as far as the story was being told, and it to me made the story dated too. But now, since I know that there was a second one, I got the second one now, so I could go ahead and read that. But that's not what I'm excited about. What I'm excited about is because over the last week, I was able to purchase the solo comic book that this character had for a pretty decent price. And then when I started doing my research, I found out that the comic book was not the original form of the character that I was looking at here. It was done in newspapers for a very long time. So I was able to get a hardcover copy of all of the Sunday comic book strips for Friday Foster. Yes, the same Friday Foster that they did the movies and stuff on was originally a comic book, or I should say a Sunday comic book strip series here, which eventually, they did a comic book shortly after the movie here, but now I have the full complete collection of the actual strips, comic book strips that they did back in the day here. So this is going to be quite an awesome find here as a whole, as far as I'm concerned here. So as I said, there's a lot of books that came in, and there's going to be a lot more that's coming in very, very soon here. I know, oh, see, Elaine went squee over some of the other books here. what is that? What the last one is for? Why did I get the reaction for the last one here? But I'm kind of over the moon because of this here. Wonder Woman 146, because Wonder Woman 146 moves the needle for my Wonder Woman collection. There's more books coming. My magic number is going to go down even further as we go along here. I just have to, pretty much take my time, take my time and take. Yeah, okay. I get it. I get it. But I have to take my time and pace myself here. But I am going to do my best to complete that Wonder Woman series from volume 1 all the way to present. I'm getting closer and closer to achieving that. I see. But with that being said, that is literally new comic book pickups for the week. Looking at a little bit over two priority mailboxes for comics plus the novels and stuff here. So yeah, and there's a lot more to come over the next couple of weeks before C2E2, which is going to be even more and trauma inducing, just like the one Friday Foster issue itself. That in itself is going to be awesome to actually have in my hands, plus a couple other comics that are supposed to be coming in the mail. That's supposed to be some gap fillers and other stuff here. Plus, other stuff that might be coming in from 49 cents, 99 cents auctions and claim sales. So it's a lot of stuff that's coming in here. And am I looking forward to C2E2 to buying books? Not so much. I honestly feel that I'm not going to be able to get any type of comic book deals at C2E2 unless I'm like really looking for like exclusives and all this other stuff. But that's a conversation. Well, actually, I might talk about that later on up under, new projects and prep and stuff to that magnitude here. But I'm happy. I'm happy with the new comic book pickups that came over this past week and everything. I hope that you guys are liking it too. On that note, let me go ahead and do the actual collection roundup here. And that, to let you guys know that no change so far in Film Force. It seems like nobody is collecting Film Force like that. I'm looking to buy myself a burger. Cool. Excellent. So no change to the Film Force, but then again, nobody really has extra Film Force issues like that in the 100s. I could find stuff below issue 100, but after issue 100 is hard sledding here. I do have a couple of sources that's trying to help me get issues 19, 23, and 24 as of right now. I'm trying to hold off and getting it from this one place because I have somebody else already, pretty much guaranteeing me that they already have it. And once I have that, then that would mean that Mr. Miracle would have been completed at this point here. As you can see from today, I currently have for Spider-Man all volumes 1 through 4, 6, and 8 completed. I'm missing issue number 6 from volume 5, and then issues 19 to 21 for volume 7 to complete out all of the Spider-Woman here. When it comes to X-Men, I have now officially completed everything from the 1963 X-Men series from issue number 1 minus the annuals all the way to volume 4, which you just seen today. I am missing the following issues from volume 5, and then it will go from volume 1, issue number 1, all the way to volume 5, and then the new series I have to just play catch up on. And then Wonder Woman itself here. As you can see, I got 146 here. Just to let you in on a secret here until they get here, I have found 141 and 144 and 145. They haven't arrived here at the house as of yet. So as soon as I secure that, this number goes down dramatically. And when I say go down dramatically, I would be looking for issues in the 120s at that point, which means that the magic number will go down to maybe about like 105 and 104 issues. And from there, from issues in the 120s, I think I only missed like about 4 issues in the 120s. And then that goes down to like the early 110s. So we're getting down to close to having everything from like issue 100 to present, which is a hard feat to do. And the last 100 is going to be a pain in the rear, because that's when we go from having like issues that are anywhere between like $15 to $25 a pop to anywhere between like $80 to $90 a pop. When we're getting into like the bigger books, the big books, the harder to find books. And if a person does have them, you're going to pay a whole bunch of money for it. And then the other thing that I have not attempted here, or well, I shouldn't say have not attempted, but they're harder to come by because not too many people released the series of X-Men from the 1991 series, the good old Jim Lee beginning series from those volumes. Is like, for example, I'm still missing these 5 issues from Volume 4, which I thought was going to be easy. Not so much. Volume 5, they're out there. Same thing with Volume 6, they're out there. But again, I'll talk about more about that in our other things here. I believe, Linda, if you're talking about the graphics for the Wonder Woman, I believe, yeah, Linda Carter was kind of like an influence, but that's not Linda Carter here. But it is what it is for right now. But saying all that to say, that's the state of where we're at here. And if you're going to notice, I'm not going to talk about anything production wise, because we're just going to go right into our topic here, mainly because I know that today is the last day of well, actually, I should just like to say like the day is the last day, but this is the day. Tonight is the going into Sunday morning at 2 p.m. We go into daylight savings, at least here in the Midwest. Unless you're in like Arizona or Hawaii, it's like the rest of the country is about to get ready to go into daylight savings here. So I know that sleep is of the essence here. And I want to remind everybody to set their clock forward at least 1 hour before they go to bed here. So yeah, when 2 o'clock hits, it's going to go from 2 to 3. Don't forget to set your clocks here. So that means my friends on the East Coast, you're going to be a little bit further in the future than the rest of us here because of that. But I don't think we're going to be on that long tonight here. And she's like, daylight. Yep, daylight savings time happens this evening. Going into Sunday morning at 2 p.m. 2 a.m. We go skip an hour, so we go all lose an hour worth of sleep unless you're in Arizona or Hawaii, which is perfectly okay. I don't blame Arizona and Hawaii. At least they got standards. At least their standards are going to be consistent here. But nevertheless, the rest of us have to adjust here. So I'm just making you guys aware of that here. But as you can see here, the tonight's topic is more comics, anime, new projects, and prep here. And as you can see, it's like the comic book collection is finally getting to the point where I'm having complete runs the way that I want it. And we're about to get ready to make that transition from trying to track down a whole bunch of popular books to maybe picking up some odds and ends series that catch my attention and slowing down on trying to get that ever so popular grail that everybody else wants, and just focusing on what I need to have my collection to be and do and everything to that magnitude here. Especially being a writer of comics that features more female heroes than anything else here. So most of my collection now is geared towards that, what has been done in the past, what is going to be done in the near future and stuff to that magnitude here. With that being stated here, that also means that a lot of my collecting habits will go away. And that's one of the reasons why I kind of held my thoughts about why it's so much harder to get the later volumes of X-Men and the later volumes of Uncanny X-Men, because of what is going on currently within the modern age of comics here, with all of this FOMO and, you know, all these variants and everything to that magnitude, because it's not just as easy just to go to a comic book shop and find these issues, because everybody's going goo goo gaga over the slightest niche type things about these issues. It's not about going in there and getting a copy of issue number 5 anymore. It's about, am I getting the right copy of issue number 5 of this particular cover and this type of thing and everything to that magnitude, which makes things a lot harder and more complicated than what it is to have a complete run of a title now. And for those who are truly completionists, it makes it 10 times harder, because it's not like you buying one copy of issue number 5. You end up buying like 10 copies of issue number 5, because there might be 10 different covers. It doesn't make too much sense anymore, at least to me, in that aspect here. And one of the reasons why I find it harder to collect newer books. And when I say newer books, I'm talking about things that came out in the modern age of comics, as opposed to, you know, bronze, silver, golden age, pre-code. Those books I could track down real quick, fast, in a hurry at decent prices here. But with modern stuff, and when I say modern stuff, I'm talking about anything from like 2020 to now. I just find all of these different markups and everything until I see, you know, the bottom fell out of or the bubble burst, or the bottom fell out of how people want to do the fair market value for it, or it's the title is no longer in vogue here. That's one of the reasons why I was talking to, and I know for a fact that the Sunstrider clan knows who Michael Curl is. I was talking to him about the markup on Dork number 1. And it's like, it's nowhere in the world for a brand new book, when it hits the shelves, that I got to pay a FOMO markup on it. I'm not paying fair market value on that. If the book comes out and it gets published and the cover price is what, $4.99 or $5.99, that's what I expect to pay for that cover A. Because of the FOMO for that book drove the price for that issue number 1 to about $40 and $50. I was like, no, y'all can have that title. My interest in that title has just gone away because of speculation and FOMO. The second print just came out. It's not even cover price. You grabbing it off the shelf at like $12 and $20 a pop. I'm like, no, this is wrong. This is so wrong. I could understand it's like new comic book day. You go to the comic book store, you grab it off the shelf for cover price. I get that. You wait 2 or 3 weeks later, yeah, you might be screwed. But not day of. I'm sorry. I don't know what it is about modern collectors right now, but y'all in a category on your own, and you're thinking that this is normal and this is acceptable. And I kind of put it to him, like, us old heads, you know, we're going to be like, no, we could wait. We're going to, and 9 times out of 10, we will wait until, you know, the popularity or the so-called speculation dies down before we even think about investing in it. I mean, one series that I never invested in, and I noticed this back in the early 2000s, I never invested in Invincible for a reason. Because after, I believe it was like after issue number 12, If when I saw it's like everything just skyrocketed out, for no apparent reason. And then it had a resurgence after the cartoon series and stuff came out. And I'm up here like, yeah, this title is going to be kind of like out of reach, and how people are just asking for it left and right and right and left. And, it's just like, I get it. It's a popular series. It's not just a popular series, it's a popular short run series. But even as a popular short run series, the prices on a lot of the books is just ridiculous. But that's modern collecting nowadays. Am I against, people making money? No. Am I against people collecting that title? No. But I understand the logic behind it. And I just don't get the, if I could say, the fair market value on why these issues are like literally put out of reach of people who are going to be brand new to comics. Unless you were collecting Invincible from like day one back in the early 2000s, trying to get into it now is just a money game. And when I say a money game, I'm talking about you're coming in the door thinking that, oh, I'm going to come in the door with $300 or $400 to barely get 2 or 3 issues. And that's sad. Normally, if I had $200 or $300, I'm going in there trying to get me a couple of Silver Age or Golden Age book for that type of dollars here. Not 2 books that came out in the early 2000s. I know some of you younger cats are up there like, well, that's 20 years ago, and this, that, and the other. It's old. It's like when you're doing something like I'm doing here with the Wonder Woman series, I'm going after books that are way older than that. And some of those issues do not command the type of money that this series, which is more recent, is. Now, I know some people are going to say, well, it sounds like you're having sour grapes because of the title. It's like, no. I don't care, what title it is. It's just that, I look at longevity and the staying power of the series. Now, mind you, Invincible now has the Battle Beast series here, and I see the same type of FOMO that's happening with the Battle Beast series. It's like getting a copy of issue number 1. It's going to be insanely priced now. But this is just stuff that I'm seeing in the modern age of comics that's kind of make me go like, you know what? If it's not an established run that I already have, I just can't see myself investing in it unless it really caught my attention. And those books are getting few and far between now. And even with things that are coming out on crowdfunding, I'm just seeing few and far less books that have really grasped my attention to pay upwards of $20 to $30 just for 1 issue of something that has not been established. And that's what kind of that's what kind of gets my craw more so than anything else here. These are titles that have not been established. We're seeing Dork 1 doing this already. We see what was the I forgot the name of the title that came out this week that people are paying like $60, $70, $80 just for the issue number 1 for first printing. And a lot of this is coming from the tactics that publishers are doing with making a lot of their books shorter runs or providing less copies, making less copies available through the distributors here. When you do your history and when you look at history, we went from comic books selling millions of copies to, if a comic book sells like 250,000, 300,000, we look at that as a bona fide hit. But when we go back to like the 30s, 40s, and 50s, comic books were selling millions. Heck, even in the 80s, 800,000, 750,000. The pure number of copies that are being distributed was far greater. Now we got all these companies now, the publishing companies now limiting things to like 250,000, 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 at most. And then when the demand gets so great and they claim that things are getting sold out, oh, here comes second print. Now we're going to milk it for what it's worth because we cut off the available number of copies for distribution just to save a couple of bucks, knowing good and well that what if you had a bona fide hit? And then when you find out that you have something that is in that type of demand, they're going to try to milk it for like, oh, here comes the second printing. Now here comes a second printing, not just by an A cover, a second printing with an A cover plus all of these other variants. And then if it gets popular again, here comes a third printing with all these different third printing variants. So they're milking us dry. But again, that is something that seems to be acceptable only in this age of comics. And I just don't get it. I really don't. And it's like, it's not even about quality. It's just more about what is expected from the modern collector now. This is no longer, as far as I'm concerned, it no longer a cheap entertainment hobby anymore. You have to come in the door wanting to be fully invested, especially if you want to collect modern comics. Now, if you want to collect comics in general, if you're not worried about the modern age and you really want to deal with copper, bronze, silver, and gold, this is a perfect time for you to come in because there's a lot of people selling a lot of the older books for like $3, $4, $5, $6, $7. Heck, like I said, I just got through looking through listings and everything and getting books at 49-cent auctions and 99-cent auctions on Hip Comics. But if you're into the more modern titles or you're looking at what's coming out now, it's rough. It's rough. It's like, how can you expect, I don't even want to go into the saying like the little Johnnies and the little Susies here. We're going to say like the little Latoyas and the little Tyrones out there in the world with mom and dad who has, get scraping by with their paycheck, and they come to us like, hey, I want to grab this one comic book of XYZ man, and they come up to us like, can I have this? It's like, well, I don't know. It's like, well, if he's going to get you to read this, that, and the other, I guess it's okay. How much is it? And you come back and tell them, oh, it's $10. $10 is a lot of money. $20 is a lot of money. In this time and age where people are struggling to just make certain that you got food and other stuff on the table, that's a big ask, as opposed to back in the day when I was younger, where it was like, 80 cents, 75 cents, $1. Now my brother came up in the generation of what, 35, 40, 50 cents. I came up with like, 50, 65, 75, $1, $1.50. It's not that bad of an ask. But when you're in a day and age where the ask is $15 for something that is not even 16 pages worth of story, that's a hard ask for a kid. And it's going to be a hard pass. This is one of the reasons why, and getting into the anime manga aspect of it, one of the reasons why I feel that manga is kind of kicking American comics ass is because not too many people go out and buy these types of books here. These type of books are not really meant for like a lot of the old schoolers here, but it is meant for, the younger crowd. Because why? a $9.99 or a $10 ask for a book about this thick kind of makes more sense than a $10 ask for a book about this thin. You get my drift? This makes a little bit more sense to ask for $10 or $15 to buy as opposed to that. And I just don't understand. I just don't understand well, I do understand the mentality. I just don't get the behavior and why this is accepted as much here. And Elaine is saying, yep, babysitting got my comics back in the day. Yep. And the girls agree. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense, you know. Like this book here, this is like a $16.99, but at least you're getting some meat and potatoes. $16.99 for this as opposed to $16.99 for a book that, you know, it's flabbergasting me. And granted, I get that we're in a day and age that people buy these books because of their favorite artist is on the cover, their favorite writer is doing a pet project or something to that magnitude, and you're willing to, you know, spend that extra money. I get it. And I'm not going to dog you for that. Do what you have to do to keep up with your fandom. But at the same time, what I also look at is entry points for brand new people into the hobby. If you was to get like your a good friend who is always curious about what do you see and love about comics, and they happen to find out that it's like, oh, you know, I like Dork 2 and this, that, and the other. You know, I'm curious. I want to get into Dork 2. What do I have to do to get into it? And the very first thing that you have to say is like, well, you have to get a copy of issue number 1. And it's like, well, it's already in the second print. It's like, well, okay, you know, how much is going to cost? Oh, it's going to cost you about $20. They're going to look at you strange because you're not giving them a big chunk of that series for that type of money. You're getting them, barely giving them what, 24 pages, if there is 24 pages in that book. Fogger blasting. Fogger blasting. Oh boy, that's funny. But you know, it's just one of those things. It's just one of those things that just makes, you know, it doesn't make my skin crawl. It just makes me just like, why? And even worse, I want to, and it's like, and it's sad because I know we're in a day and age where we got many different type of people collecting right now. We got people who love collecting collected volumes, which is perfectly fine. I don't have a problem with them, but those who are waiting for that collective volume are waiting the longest time, because while everybody else already knows about these series and talking about all these different storylines and everything, they have to wait the longest until that collective volume comes out, if it comes out. Why? Because of the simple fact that that's the most affordable way for them to get all the issues in one fell swoop, and it makes dollars and cents wise for them. And I don't blame them. And I'm one of these people that I hate collective volumes. If I'm going to read a story, I'd rather have each issue in my hand and this, that, and the other here. And Elaine is saying, yeah, comics are originally intended for kids. I don't think that's 100% accurate. I don't believe that 100% accurate here. Now, I'm going to explain the reason why that statement is not 100% accurate here. Because comics was meant to be a quick form of entertainment for all ages, not just for kids and teens. Because if you go back to the 1930s, 1940s, there was comic books for anybody and everybody on the American comic side, just like how it is for manga over there in Japan. The difference here is that as we got more into like the 60s and 70s and 80s, the comic book publishers started marketing solely to kids and teens because they figured that it's easier to keep kids and teens happy with these stories instead of just making it for all ages. And then once that mentality of comics are only for kids got into our, if I could say, culture, really, got its roots into our culture, we can never break away from it. Because even with looking at things right now, who buys the greatest amount of comics right now? It's not kids and teens. It's people over the age of 30 mostly. And how did we get all these people over the age of 30? Because again, they started back when we were dealing with a lot of the silver, bronze, and copper age books because they were still affordable. Even to this day, a lot of those books are affordable even in this economy compared to what we're doing now with modern age comics. These publishers have changed their marketing schemes several times over. They went from newsprint to different type of paper. They started paying the artists a lot more money and everything, and that drove the price, that cover price, up and up and up and up and up and up until now we're at like $4.99, $5.99, $6.99, $7.99 for cover prices for these books. That is before we start talking about variant covers and one in 50s, one in 10s, one in 25s, and all this other marketable nonsense. When the paradigm went from giving a good story for everybody to good story for kids to now marketing this thing as a collectible. It's a lot of things that these publishers are doing on that marketing side that just doesn't sit well when it comes to this hobby as a whole here to get new people in. They're making that threshold for newcomers so great as far as the price that they got to pay, at least in this modern age, that it doesn't make any sense. And to be quite honest, if I have to get newer people into the hobby of comics, the first thing that I probably do is take them to like a C2E2 instead of going to these bigger booths where you have the companies here with their $40 and $50 and $60 exclusive variants and everything. I'll take them to a couple of the comic book vendors to their dollar bins, $2 bins, and $3 bins, and get them maybe like a couple $100 worth of comic books. It's like, here, start with this. If you like these books, guess what? You can find these books a lot cheaper than more of these other exclusive books that they're up here trying to peddle. And it's sad to say that. It's sad to say. It's like you could get this brand new copy of X-Men number. I think they're on like 30 something. This exclusive cover of C2E2 exclusive cover of X-Men number 30 something with the one of the greatest artists of all time for $60, and you got one comic. Or I could take that $60 and parlay that into maybe 20 to 30 books over here out of the $1, $2, $3 bins easily. And to be quite honest, the modern comics age here has gotten away from telling great stories. Everybody is looking at the art. Everybody's looking at, who's doing what, the artwork. Is it if it's a good writer, they just want to say, oh, I just want to support the writer, but nobody's really commenting about the story. Nobody's talking about how great the story is and why they want to follow that next issue and why why others need to pay attention to these stories. That's not happening now as it used to be. And again, it's kind of sad that almost 40 years ago. Is it 40? See, 20. Yeah. Well, yeah. yeah, 40 years ago in the 90s. You know, we lost all of those other magazines and everything because it's like when we lost Wizard magazine, when we lost what is it called? Not Comic Book Buyer's Guide. The I forgot what that other free one that we used to get in comic book stores. I forgot what the name of it, but when we stopped when we lost those insider magazines and these insider pamphlets and stuff like that that was telling us what was going on behind the scenes and stories to look out for and stories to be excited about that's coming out. Because when Wizard of the Coast first started back in the early 90s, that's what Wizard was about. By the time we get to the 2000s, they had cut comics off to the quick and became more of an entertainment magazine and started talking about television and movies and all this other stuff. And comics went to the back burner. And when that happens and you start taking that mentality of a collector's item, it's no longer about what content is in it. It's more about, oh, did you get this issue because everybody else is making it an item? Yeah, likes your Uncanny X-Men full run set of 20 books. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that reminds me. I gotta see anyone might have copies of Epic Illustrator or 1999. I know a couple of places that may have some Epic Illustrator. I have seen some from time to time. So now, since I know that you're looking for some, I would ask here. Yeah, I kind of like he came to mind, and a couple other people came to mind, at least for Epic Illustrated. 1999, not so much, but Epic Illustrated, I do know for a fact here. But saying all that to say is pretty much it's that mentality, and then those who kind of share my mentality sometimes get shunned. Just like I did my one live stream about stuff that I wanted to get graded for at C2E2. And we had some comments coming in talking about why are you doing that? And people were like dumbing their nose at the books that I was choosing because it was not an Amazing Spider-Man 300. It was not Ultimate Fallout 4 or all these other hot books. I'm more of a preservationist. And some of the books that I'm trying to preserve, it's like books that I know are not going to lose their value. And I know for a fact that they're going to be harder to come by from this point forward here. Not to say that these other people are wrong, because they're not, because that's what they need to do for their collection. But for my collection, it doesn't make any sense because I'm not planning to sell these books. It doesn't make any sense to make that hard decision on investing an extra $50 to $60 to get something encapsulated if you're planning to sell it. If you're not planning to sell it, it's like I could take my time on doing this. But one of the things that I was looking at is like which books needs to be preserved fastest here. And to be quite honest, I still have them sitting here as like, I'm up here debating, should I do more of my stuff that actually gets sold at conventions here up under my artist account here, or, more modern stuff like this. But, some of the books that I definitely really wholeheartedly wants to get encapsulated first, it's like a lot of the older books that should be encapsulated, such as Doom Patrol 121, the so-called last issue of the run before they started doing reprints. I'm going to hold off on doing the first appearance of Red Sonja, like first Tigra, first Mr. Miracle. Debating on doing another another copy of 206, which is the third appearance of Nubia. Even things such as, Challengers of the Unknown, older books, to try to preserve them, to try to, keep them at their most pristine, here. And then, there are some other more recent books that I'm also thinking about that, like I said, to me, that it becomes more like a vanity type thing here, such as that to me is a vanity. That's more vanity than, oh, I have to get this encapsulated and whatnot. This is more of a vanity thing here. Yes, it needs to be preserved. Yes, it's a popular type of book that people would like to go and get graded. That's another one. That's a vanity book. Not everybody's looking for a high grade Young Avengers #1 anymore. Another vanity book, only because people were going goo goo gaga over second printing of Gotham Sirens #1 from the first volume year. Already got a 9.8 of the first print, but I could hold off on that. But things that I would like to get done right away is like things like Red Sonja #1, or even Howard the Duck #1. Those are things that I see more fitting to get graded. Heck, I got even another first Spider-Woman to try to get graded. But nevertheless, these things I could sit back and be like, okay, one at a time, not, no major big deal to try to make money back off of getting the encapsulation. These are just books that, as I need to get them preserved, I will get them preserved. But at the same time, other people be like, no, you're choosing the wrong books. You're looking at the problem the wrong way. It's like, how am I looking at the problem the wrong way? I even got signed books that I want to get graded, such as the Peter David sign of 441. Mind you, I already got one of the 441 graded, but this is the one that I got signed by Peter David. And here it is, the book that I always tell people about. This is the book that Chris Claremont stopped the whole line where he could sit back and read, because it's been a long time since he's seen anybody hold a copy of Prudence and Caution. And there's Chris Claremont's signature right there. Those are the types of books that I would like to get done. But like I said, these are more vanity projects than something that, oh, I need to get this done because it's worth a whole bunch of money. There's two ways to always look at collecting as far as the monetary value is concerned. You could look at it as far as reselling, or you could look at it as far as like, I lost my train of thought here as I was putting these books away here. You could look at it as far as reselling the books, or you could look at it from the standpoint of archiving. And when you look at it from the standpoint of archiving, you're looking more for historical sense, or the actual value that is being brought to the table from the overall history of comics, which to me is more precious than, oh, if I could sell this for $100 now, I made my money back. I rather preserve these books to have somebody 20 years, 30 years, 40 years down the line be able to look at it and enjoy it and know a lot of the history here. And one of the most surprising things that happened today was, my fiance sent me a video. It was talking about, it was two people talking about the why everything is being streamed today as opposed to physical media. And it was talking about ownership and being able to rewrite history. Nobody's going to have the most unadulterated version of things that have happened. So when we watch movie via streaming, news events via streaming, all the stuff via streaming, everything is up in the cloud, and it makes it easier for people to edit. So instead of having the unabridged history of things, we're going to have more or less a edited viewpoint. Even things such as this show could be, downloaded, via YouTube and everything, and people could use AI and stuff to edit what I'm saying here. But you would never have the unadulterated version of what actually took place and the true context of what is being said. I feel that way when it comes to comics here too. The reason why I'm trying to get certain collections and certain title runs in this standpoint. Will I be the only one to have all the X-Men books ever assembled? No, I won't be the only one. But my goal is to try to keep that run assembled as long as I can, preserved as long as I can, and entrust it to like a museum or a university or a library later on down the line, for it could be preserved for other people to be able to view, look at, read, and get into what I love. There's nothing wrong with that. There's something altruistic about it, more so than, oh, I can make myself a millionaire by selling comic books, and once I got that $1 million, I could walk away from it. Two different goals, two different roads to lead, but that road is not my road here. My road is to do what I'm doing back here, is creating all these different books and sharing stories and everything, and preserving these books for as long as I can, because it can be a lost art form. One of the other things that come up from time to time is like when you look at art forms, where it be jewelry making, drawing, painting, sculpting, sooner or later there are going to be fewer and fewer people doing these types of stuff, because again, it takes a lot of time to master these traditions here. And with technology catching up to a lot of these things that we used to do by hand, by tradition, people are going to lose the creative art behind it. They're going to lose a lot of the techniques behind it. And it's just not fair and not good in the long run here. Yeah, I know they are harder to come across. Yep. 1999, The Space Show. No, there was a comic book / magazine run called 1999, which was akin to like a heavy metal. So if you know about heavy metal, before heavy metal became heavy metal, there was things such as Epic Illustrated in 1999. But they were few and far between those here. Getting back to what Elaine was saying back up here. So, looking at the chat and seeing what the chat was talking about, that's what Elaine was truly talking about as a whole here. But now, since you get where I'm coming from with these types of aspect and why I see things the way that I do here, getting back to the topic here, that's one of the reasons why I kind of look back, and it's like how people are up here. It's like, well, why are a lot of younger people flocking towards, anime and manga? It's like, well, because a lot of the stories and stuff are digestible. They're just easier digestible, because even right now I'm watching, I think I said this on Comic Book Spectrum, that I'm watching, and I'm almost done with watching the full series of Kuriko's Basketball. And this is like just a basketball anime, and it talks about these there was like a middle school team that was like, had like the five best players that had the five best players in Japan that had the potential to go very far in a basketball career. And even these five made mention that they had a sixth man that they recognized here. And once they left middle school, they all went to different high schools, and now everything is coming to a head as far as them competing against one another, because of this one big kind of like falling out with the whole team. And now I'm getting towards the end of the whole entire series and watching it unfold. I was like, I just don't know what it is, but I forgot the name of the other basketball anime that I watched from like back in like the 90s. But it's just something about the way that manga and anime is telling these types of stories that just makes me just it makes me more impressed than what we could have done in American comics. It's just the way that they do the storytelling. It's just a little bit more compelling here. Now, the one thing that I don't like is that it's it's teenagers, I don't really care too much reading about stories or watching series about 12, 13, 14 year olds or even 16, 17 year olds, but that's just the culture of anime and manga. Once I take that out of my mind and look at the story for what it is, I was like, oh, this is a great story. I see why people are gravitating towards it. And Kuriko's basketball was just happened to be one of those stories that caught my attention. And it's like, and watching it through the whole entire thing, it was like, this got some legs. I can see why people are gravitating more towards this, as opposed to some of the stories that we're telling now. Is that a bad thing? No. But what I also look at is, what are we not doing over here with our stories? How are they telling the stories, and how can I use how the way that their techniques into how I tell my stories for our comic books over here, or if I write a script for any type of animation or something to that magnitude, how I can use that to my advantage to tell a better story. So it just caught my attention in that aspect as a whole here, as far as looking at the bigger picture. Not to say, oh, anime is better or manga is better than American comics. Like, no, we're all one and the same. They're both comics. But I need to understand how they're telling the story to help me tell a better story along the lines here. It may not be what true people who love manga may like, because it's not in the art style and all the other stuff that they may love. But if you tell a great story, people will appreciate it and read it and love it just the same here. Which gets me to what we're going to talk about as far as the new projects. I'm following your advice, Elaine, here. I did start work on the appendix here, but I'm not going full bore on it. I actually did some of the paper, or actually put down a lot of the different finishers and everything on paper, but I haven't like really like fleshed it out and formatted. So I'm really going to wait until after C2E2, but I just need to get some work done outside of just sitting around twiddling my thumbs waiting for the new title to get here and everything to that magnitude. I need something to kind of get myself back in the swing of things, of wanting to do finish up the issue 6 of Primetime Saturday Night and issue 8 of Amazonia as soon as possible here. So working on that project with the appendix should be fun, starting in April. Finishing that up in April and everything, and I can't wait to start talking about it on this show here. And no, we're not going to crowdfunding for this project, even though I should. I should, but I'm not. I'm going to play this one by ear. And the reason I'm playing it by ear is because of the simple fact that it's not just only a project dealing with characters that we created here. We're also using a role-playing system that is owned by Lockdown Games, and they're allowing us to use it pretty much for free. And I have to be mindful of them. So when we do release this, I got to make certain that I take care of them, which means that the first couple of books that comes off of the printing press, I have to make certain that they get copies here. Because if they get their people in it and they love it and everything, I believe they're going to send people our direction. Yeah, I have been folding origami cranes this week, and I'm starting to do mini paintings. See, I mean, it's so much stuff. It's so much other stuff to do. Most of my stuff that I need to have done, I'm just sitting here waiting for stuff to get delivered. I haven't ordered like the short boxes for comic books as of yet because I need to put more books in short boxes and storage and everything to that magnitude. It's like I've been using like these priority mailboxes for the time being, for I could keep everything cataloged and squared away here, and then that way, when I get this new set, I could start putting these books in short boxes and have them set aside and ready for shows and easier access than the way that I have them right now. But it kind of is what it is here. So C2E2 is going to be it's one C2E2 this year is going to be one of those weird ones where as much as I try to get prepared for it, I feel like I'm not, but I really am. It's not like other years where I thought I was prepared and lo and behold, it's like, oh, I didn't order enough of this book or I don't have enough of that book or I'm out of these issues. It's like, no, this time around, I think we're good. I even got a third, I bought the third rack here. So that way we could show more comic books and everything here. And I know you up here is like, well, you still have to have the space for the business cards and everything. And yes, I do got more business cards. I that did came in. The business cards did come in here, so that's the another good thing. So I do have another like what this is like 250 more business cards all ready to go. So we're good on that. I mean, just the odds and end ticky tack stuff here, promotional items. I'm just not going to overly worry about that. My goal here is we're going to launch this new series. We're going to get people to look at what we've been doing for like the past close to 20 years. Wow. Kind of thing is getting close to 20 from the end of 2008 to now. Yeah, getting close to 20 years of doing this type of stuff here. It's been a journey here. I bought the wrong plastic. Oh wow, that's never a good thing here. But you know, all that to say that C2E2 this year is probably going to be the last one that we're going to be doing the way that we have been doing it in the past here. I'm if I do C2E2 in 2027, we're going to scale back a lot. And when I say scale back a lot, I'm debating about not doing a premiere booth. We're just going to do small press again. Do small press or not have a booth in premiere space more so than anything else, and we're going to go from there because the way that I'm looking at it from this point forward, it's like the reason why I was doing premiere space all this time because we had in the very beginning days we was next to things like Marvel and DC and other like publishers now, and these shows are not bringing in the bigger publishers like they used to. It's been too much of a hassle, and they don't lump us together like they used to too. It's like, you know, being next to like a vendor that sells candy or a vendor that sells t-shirts up in the front. That is, not to say that the t-shirt sellers and pop sellers and all this other stuff are not premier sellers. I mean, they have established their names, and these are the bigger names that's in the industry here. But saying all that to say, it's like, C2E2 is not really focusing on the bigger publishers anymore and everything to that magnitude. And it puts more pressure on people, on small fries like us, to bring it each and every year. And then if we try to bring it each and every year, then we're not around somebody that is like us. It just makes it 10 times harder to get people to us. I mean, it is what it is here. See, the bags that I got are 7.25 by 10.5. Would you like some? I got 100. 7 1/4 by 1.5. So you got modern comic book size. So that's modern comic book size bags and boards. Well, or at least bags. That might come in handy. I mean, if you bring them to C2E2, that might come in handy. And that was another thing that I was debating on if I was going to spend money on, which is, custom plastic bags. When we make a sale, we put them in a custom plastic bag, but that is even expensive. It's like nothing is any type of thing that is branded is nowadays is nowhere near the cost of like it was 5-10 years ago. 5-10 years ago, oh, you could get branded bags real cheap. Real cheap. Now you're going to pay an arm and a leg because, and sadly to say, because nothing is really truly produced over here in the States like it used to be, and those that do it cost an arm and a leg. And it's sad. It's sad, but it's true. It's sad, but it's true. But you have to figure out your own lane here. And now I have seen stuff like buying like my own stamping ink pads, where we could get like our own brown bags and stamp our logos and stuff on that. And it's like, yeah, we could do that, but that to me is still kind of chintzy. It's not something that I would do like with Sticker Mule to get like the mailing bags that I've been using. Those been coming into handy, the poly mailer bags and whatnot here. Yeah, I'll bring them as I figure out putting the smaller items into them. May not have to pay for a bag fee. Yeah. That's one of those things that I was like, I used to save all like the plastic bags and stuff that they used to give us for like free for like purchases and stuff like that, and just bring them to like C2E2 or in like some of like a lot of the older conventions. I used to be able to grab like 20 or 30 or 40 the plastic bags for like Toy Fair and stuff like that and keep them around. But now since those bags are dwindling in numbers and stuff to that magnitude, it's just like, yeah, I just haven't found myself the time, energy, or the money to get our own branded bags. But that's neither here nor there as far as that is concerned, as far as branding the company as a whole here for when purchases are made here. But what I am looking forward to is that first day of C2E2 where I make the Legends of the Giants and Slayer #1 active on the website, active on a couple other places for sale, as well as having the books in hand at C2E2. I'm probably not going to do another Whatnot show like I did last year. I did a couple of Whatnot shows here because it seems like nobody was interested in our books here. And I haven't done a Whatnot show in a long time, but even though we were still making comic book sales from all of the other stuff that I've been pulling from my own personal collection to sell on Whatnot, but our own produced comics are not selling very well there. So I probably won't do a Whatnot show for that here unless somebody really wants to get like our exclusives again. So, but we'll cross that bridge when we cross that bridge here. But needless to say, that's pretty much the topic for today here. So that means that unless you guys got something else that you want me to talk about, we're probably going to close up shop here because I know for a fact we're back at daylight savings again. So that means we're going to lose an hour worth of sleep here. And I know if the earlier that we end the show here, the more likelihood that we could get to bed and not feel like we missed an hour's worth of rest here. So if that is the case here, is there anything else that our beloved chat has to ask me or want me to talk about? I'll be gladly to be able to do that right now. The floor is yours. What do you guys want to talk about? If not, we're just going to call it a day. Like I said, this show is for you guys. This show is for you guys. You can ask any questions, have any questions, I'm going to try my best to answer them. So I'll give you guys a couple of moments here. See if there's any new questions that comes up. And Lane says, I want to kidnap a billionaire and make him my love slave. Well, you got opportunities here. It's easy to pull up a list of billionaires, a single billionaires, and go from there. It's just that simple. You could go and find a list of billionaires who are single and go from there. That's the best way to attack that problem. And we're just waiting to see if there's anybody else that has any other comments or questions here. They are on the Epstein list. I don't think she wants anybody from that list here. Michael B. Jordan is married, I believe. So that won't work. Michael B. Jordan won't work because I believe he's married. And being the third banana is not always what it's cracked up to be. So I don't know on that here. But then again, I really don't talk too much about dating advice on the show here because I just don't know how other people truly date. She will have to release him. Maybe. Well, you got your work cut out for you here. And the only reason I don't give too much dating advice here because what everybody is attracted to is what they attracted to here. You know, love doesn't always equal common sense. You know, that's one of the other things. You gotta help you for Michael B. Jordan. I don't even know the guy. If I knew the guy, I'd be like, okay, fine. This is where I'm going to set up a meet and greet with you, a meet and greet where you could talk to him, and then you're on your own from there. But I don't even know him. I don't know him either. But you know, like I said, I don't offer dating advice like that. Unless I like really know, I keep my 2 cents to myself here. But it's just fun. I find it fun, especially talking to people who are younger than I that's just going through all this rigmarole when it comes to dating. I was like, my best advice for anybody who is still out there on the dating track here: if you're meeting somebody brand new, always go out with the mentality of enjoying yourself. Don't try to go out there and impress somebody or try to make a grand gesture. It's like you meet somebody, go out there with the mentality is like going out to hang out for a bit to get to know them, but the main goal is to enjoy yourself. Don't put yourself in a position where you can't enjoy your evening. And when I say can't enjoy your evening, I'm talking about with or without that person. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Y'all go your separate ways. That's fine, but still enjoy your evening. You know, that's one of the best advice that was given to me more so than anything else. And I kind of followed that. It's like, regardless if you guys hit it off or not, just go out there to enjoy yourself. If you have a good time with that person, then that's kudos. If you don't, you don't. You know, try to find something that, you know, when you go out with them, find something that's enjoyable by both of you. You know, don't, you know, it's like people, you know, go out here and just expect too much from the other person instead of just going out and just enjoying the company. And if you enjoy the company, so be it. If you don't, you don't. But go out and have some fun. A date is not supposed to be like, oh, I'm going to find my next husband and wife right then and there. It's like, no, A date is what it is. It's like you're just going, going out just to have some fun to see if this person is somebody that you dig being around. There's always steps of courting somebody here. It's like the first step is always like, hey, do I like being around this person, and do I enjoy their company? If you don't enjoy their company, then why pursue them? I mean, maybe we're just more down to earth and base, have base needs, such as, oh, she's just ultra pretty, or he's just ultra handsome. But after you get beyond that, it's like, can you stand to be around them for a long period of time? Are they into the same type of stuff that you're into? If not, do you like the type of stuff that they're into? Go out and have some fun. Just have fun. It's like if you go out and do something brand new that you're not sure about, at least go out there and have the mentality that you're going to have fun, whether you enjoy it or not, whether you like what it is or not. Go out and try to have some fun with it. Because I don't want to chase him around and scream at him. Yeah. Will they cry if I hit them with a pie? What type of pie are you trying to hit people with? She's on this Michael B. Jordan kick here. It's just like as bad as Meanwhile, because Meanwhile is like, I just know for a fact, it's like, you know what? As long as I keep the authorities away from her and she doesn't go overboard, we're going to be A-okay. So she went over there, she met her and everything went fine. Now, was I on high alert that that Elaine might have done something a little bit naughty? Yes, but she was on best behavior and she enjoyed herself. She's like apple pie. She's going to hit him with apple pie. See, now you got me thinking, does apple pie getting smashed sound the exact same way as a peach cobbler? But anyway, let me let you guys go here, since I know that there's not too many. Yeah, I told you. See, you behaved yourself and you went over there. You had a good time. You had a good time talking to her, and you was on cloud nine for the rest of that C2E2 as well. So, saying all that to say, C2E2 will be something unique this year, hopefully. But we're at an hour, but almost at an hour 30 minutes here. I'm going to let my East Coast friends have a little bit of their Saturday left before they make the leap into like an extra hour into the future at 2 a.m. here. For the rest of us, I want you guys to enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and we're out. I'll catch some of you back here on Thursday for Comic Book Spectrum. If not, meet me back here on Saturday. We're definitely going to have some more comics to look at, other stuff to talk about here. Hopefully, I don't get too ranty here. Next week will put us about 2 weeks out from C2E2. So hopefully there's going to be a lot more things to show and a lot more preparation to go through here. And everybody's in the chat is saying goodbye to one another, and we're out. As always, live life, grow, and be well. And see you guys next Saturday. Bye.